Hey everybody, I haven't done a review on a pet food in quite a while. Here you go. Here's one you probably have not heard of, I'm betting. And just like I said in the thumbnail, this one's a winner. I think you're really going to be impressed, and some of you are definitely going to want to try this, I believe. And just so you know, again, I'm not paid or sponsored by any of these food companies, but this one I'm impressed with. So let's go. So first of all, I have to tell you, it is almost the end of January, and we have a blinding snowstorm outside my window. So I thought, in honor of that, I would kind of liven up things a little bit and wear my Hawaiian shirt. So here you go. I'm just trying to feel warm and tropical in this. It's been quite a snowy winter this year. Again, it's the end of January. We still got a couple more months to go, and I'm getting old. I'm tired of the winter already. But anyway, that's what this. So if you're wondering why is he wearing a Hawaiian shirt, that's why. And okay, so let's get into the company is called Ivet, and Ivet is out of the Kansas City area. It was family owned for a number of years. As a Hills rep, I remember 25 years ago. The product was out there. It doesn't have full distribution throughout the whole country, I don't think, but at least back in the old days, it didn't. But here in Colorado, I saw some of it. It's real big in Midwest. What it is actually is a product that's only sold through veterinarians. So for those of you that don't like that, for whatever it's worth, this company again, you're limited to how much you can make when you're your own company. So they chose to just distribute it's not therapeutic, or wasn't at the time. It was just regular healthy food. Matter of fact, their motto at the time was a good food at a good price. And I always thought that's so funny because everybody is like, we are the best, we're the best, all this other stuff. And here's a company just saying, hey, we're a good food at a good price. And I will tell you, I remember back then looking again as a Hills rep, I compared everything, I looked at everything. And when I looked at iVet, especially because it was vet exclusive, only sold through vets, of course I was interested. And they were right. It really was a good product at a good price. And so fast forward, I guess a couple of years ago, Verbac, and Verbac, you're probably familiar with them. Probably their most famous product is CET Chews. They make a few other flea and tick products and stuff like that. But anyway, Verbac bought Ivet, and so I was actually kind of unaware of it at the time, but so they did, and they expanded the line into I think there's about like three different types of food they have now, and like many companies do, which is just really aggravating because like just make a good food and keep to that, but they gotta marketing is have to entice people with different brands. So they have three, and we're going to go through them. So let me start out by saying their website is really well done. You can get the dry matter percentage, you can get the milligrams and grams per 100 kcal. So God bless them. That is so awesome when you can get that. I'm going to stick with dry matter with this just because it seems to be what everybody likes, and that's fine because we're comparing all within the same brand, so that's fine. So let's go ahead and jump in. I got my little black book so we can actually look at this. And I want to tell you, I think I want to start with what I think is really a big surprise. Here's the healthy gourmet adult diet. I'll put the bag up so you can see it. If we look at the protein, 26%, awesome, right within that 15% to 30%. Fat at 15%, that's fine. Look at the calcium and phosphorus. Now, those of you that are in the nutrition mission, you probably have these numbers memorized by now. But calcium, we want to have it really 1% or below to be optimal, right? Just to reduce the risk of some age-related diseases, especially, or mineral excess diseases, that kind of thing. We have a calcium level at 0.98. Um, there aren't too many diets you're going to find that. And when I say calcium, let's also look at the phosphorus at 0.82. The high range of phosphorus is 0.8%. So 0.82, I'll tell you what, good luck trying to find one that compares. There's some out there for sure, but this was actually a really nice surprise to see a optimal protein level, an excellent mineral content, sodium at 0.22, But here's the other surprise. Look at the vitamin E level. This is in international units per kilogram of food. That's the way it's usually measured. 655 international units. Very impressive. Again, good luck. I know Science Diet will be up around that level. There's maybe a few others, but this was a real big surprise. And so I'm sure I'm showing the nutrient level somewhere here, but this is a real big surprise. You know what the really big surprise is? If you buy a 33-pound bag, their biggest size, you're paying $1.97 a pound for this food. $1.97. Now, again, for those of you that remember, and I'm just going off my memory here, I think Pro Plan and Science Diet come in around 265, 267, something like that. Origin, I remember, was at even $4 a pound. I mean, you're looking at from 250 into the $3 is very common, and up into $4 a pound for many of the foods we've looked at. I don't think I can remember. I don't even think Himes is that low. So here's, I mean, this is when I say it's a winner. If I'm just looking at the basic nutrition, and what does that low mineral content tells me that protein is high quality. Now, to try to be more diplomatic, it's 2025. I'm going to try to understand everybody's perspective. Getting a lot of comments these days. What I want to do is let's look at the ingredient panel. Since we have 26% protein and the mineral level is really low, how are they achieving that? Let's look at the ingredient panel. Okay, so I'm hoping many of you out there are cheering now. Those of you that have been writing me, telling me I ignore ingredients. And so I get it. The ingredients matter too. So let's take a look at the ingredient panel of Healthy Gourmet from Ivet. Okay, so let's look at the ingredient panel. And what do we find? Chicken meal is the first ingredient. So here's a food company that's, good old Midwestern, you know, um, no nonsense. You don't see chicken as the first ingredient here. So God bless them for just being honest. Okay, chicken meal. So definitely we're seeing that chicken is the main protein source in this food, and I applaud them for just saying, here's chicken meal. It's a dry food. We're using dry ingredients. We're not playing that water weight to get chicken to the front of the ingredient panel. Most of you know, if you were looking at most foods out there, what would we see? Chicken is the first ingredient, then chicken meal. Okay, so here they're just being more honest. Brewer's rice, oatmeal, pearl barley. Again, I love them. They're not afraid of using carbohydrates for different vitamins and minerals and energy and protein. Chicken fat, that's fine. Um, what do we have here? Dried beet pulp, that would be a fiber source. Flaxseed, source of omega-3s. Yes, flaxseed's not the best source of omega-3s. The best way, like if we're making arthritis diet or something like that, you can get omega-3s from flaxseed, but it's not nearly as bioavailable as from fish oil. If you're really looking for high levels, you've got to go with fish oil. And interestingly enough, or fish meal, the next ingredient is fish meal, a source of natural DHA, which is an omega-3. So lots in there. That's fine. A natural flavor. That's they spray on it so that the makes it more palatable. Usually it's a meat gruel kind of thing. You have to be careful that the nutrient levels don't are match up to your protein levels and all. So that's fine. You'll find most of the ingredient tests that all of us have watched on other channels and stuff. Natural flavor. They don't know what it is. And, it's just so silly that if they knew anything about the diets, they would know what it is. But sometimes it will be called Animal Digest, which sounds really gross, and it kind of is. I mean, it's a gruel made out of meat and all this kind of stuff, and it just is extremely palatable, and it's why a dog will eat dry food or a cat will eat dry food. So, but natural flavor is another way you can describe it. Dried egg product, again, look how far down it is, but that could definitely be contributing to, along with the chicken meal, as a protein source, and that is what is helping them achieve that awesome mineral content. This isn't just a meat-based food. So I give them points if you want to start looking at ingredient panels this way. They're combining different protein sources, which is great, deliver all the amino acids, but let's keep that mineral content nice and low to reduce the risk of disease. So good for them. And then it goes on to all the other vitamin mineral supplements, which I'm not going to get into. And again, it's funny, if you look at different ingredient panels, again, I would have no idea of the quality of that chicken meal if I didn't have the nutrients. So here we go, to try to be diplomatic. For those of you that said it's important to look at nutrients, but you also need to look at ingredients. Okay, here's a good example. This ingredient panel would not tell me the quality of that chicken meal. I don't see it there. There's no way of knowing. But then I look at an excellent nutrient profile and I know, aha, that chicken meal is high quality. Another food might say chicken meal, and I look at the mineral content, and guess what? It's not as good. What does that tell me? They're using either too much protein, or their protein sources aren't the purest, or they're not doing what Ivet is doing here. They're not using something like an alternative, like egg uh, um, protein, or soy protein, or corn gluten meal protein. So again, awesome. If I look at this ingredient panel, it matches up very well with the nutrient levels we looked at. And again, at a price that I don't know. Anybody out there remember, we've done a lot of reviews together and looked at price. I don't think there's a dog food that low in price that we looked at. Even Iams, I don't believe so. Maybe pedigree, but nobody wants to feed pedigree if you're looking at nutrition. So anyway, here you go. Here's the diet. Now, we're going to compare the others, but I think I just want to say this because I know I'm going to lose a lot of you now that I've gotten to here. It's vet exclusive. You have to get it from a vet. But what Verbac did, and this is kind of a good thing, they created ivet.com. So ivet.com is a convenient place, especially for all you younger folks out there that can't buy anything unless it's off the internet. You can go to ivet.com and get all the Verbeck products, everything they make, including the Ivet diets. And I called them and talked to them. I just wanted to make sure I was familiar with their history and everything. And it's just what I told you. But I said, geez, a lot of my subscribers, they don't want to have to go to their vet to get this. Most vets aren't going to be carrying it in the clinic anyway. So to get an approval so that they can buy a wellness food, that doesn't make sense. I understand with a therapeutic. And she said, if you go to the website, now I have not done this, but she said, if you go to the website, there's a place to put in the vet's recommendation. There also is a place where it says, you don't have a veterinarian or a particular vet, and you can click that. And this way, you don't need approval from a veterinarian because, again, this is just a good, healthy food. This isn't a therapeutic diet. So you can get it directly from ivet.com. And I'm just going to say this right now because I'm sounding like I'm their spokesperson. They don't know anything about me. I'm not sponsored by them. I'm not getting a penny from Ivet. I'm just excited to find what I find is an excellent food at an excellent price. If you've been watching my videos, how often does that happen? Not very often at all. So here you go. Here is when people talk about budget food, this is going to be my new budget go-to, is go to ivet.com, get the healthy gourmet, not all the other. You're going to start looking at all the other ones that are going to start looking really good with bells and whistles. And I can tell you, I'll show you in a minute before I lose you, none of the other nutrients match up to this diet. So here you go. This is the one. Okay. Let's see. Let's go on. And I just want to show you why this one's so good. So they have others. And I mentioned the Ivet Vet Basics. Why they're calling it Vet Basics, I don't know. Again, because they're all supposed to, get through the vet. And what I found was it's a little less expensive, like 20 cents less per pound. So again, real budget, right? It's 24% protein. So Healthy Gourmet was 26. This one is 24. It has grains and carbs, much like Healthy Advantage, Healthy Gourmet. But the calcium now, remember we were at 0.9 and 0.8. It goes up to 1.2 and 1%. So the protein level came down, calcium and phosphorus level went up. And this is weird. I went ahead and looked at the ingredient panel, and it's like just about basically identical to the Healthy Gourmet. So here you go. Here's a good example of an ingredient panel that really doesn't tell you a whole lot because there's some differences in this diet based on the nutrients delivered. There is a cold water culinary diet. Let me put that one up. And this is salmon and potatoes. So for those of you that are struggling, trying to find a novel ingredient diet, and you don't want to go spend the money at the vet for Derm Complete, which I do believe is just the most awesome standard you don't know whether it's food or environment. The prescription diet during complete, I've done a video on it. I've talked to many people about it. It's awesome. But if you're on a budget, you're trying to try different things. This comes in at 346 a pound, so that's around the price of Science Diet Pro Plan. Again, lower than some of the other foods out there, but it is just salmon and potato. Salmon is still a novel ingredient in most cases, and potato is definitely a non-allergenic type carbohydrate, and also is a natural anti-inflammatory, which we just learned not that long ago. So that's pretty cool. This comes in at protein of 28%, so that's great. Calcium and phosphorus is 1.6 and 1.3. So where we'd rather have it at 1 and 0.8, okay, it's higher, um, kind of higher than some of the others out there. But I've often said this: when you have a dog that's suffering with allergies, you got to find something that gives them relief. So basic nutrition, not that it goes out the window, but it becomes second priority to what can I feed this dog that doesn't elicit a response. So even though that's not the best mineral content, sodium at 0.4, again getting a little higher, at 346 a pound, it's not a bad option if you're not going to go with the prescription diets, which if those of you that know me, I really believe that's the standard. At least go with the prescription diets, find out that you have a solution, get the dog feeling better, and then you can always introduce one of these and try one of these. So if you're going to do it that way, this would be one that I would think I would try. Again, if my dog was really older, I don't like that mineral content, but we're giving up a really good mineral content for hopefully a novel ingredient diet. But I want to finish with this. The NutriCare, I'll put the bag up here. Again, another surprise coming from this company. And that's why, the nutrients tell the story. The NutriCare is for heart and kidney patients. And again, this would be vet exclusive. And this, I definitely, I'm sure if you tried ordering on the ivet.com, it's going to say, no, you need to have a vet involved with this. And you should, for all the right reasons. But the protein level, this is a dry form, is 15% protein and zero point 0.7 calcium, 0.27 phosphorus, and 0.17 sodium. Now, those numbers probably look extreme to you and they look crazy, whatever, maybe they don't. But I will tell you, they're almost exact to the prescription diet canine KD, kidney diet or kidney care from Hills. So I am really impressed that this company knows enough and cares enough to make that nutrient profile as good as they did. Because when you're mimicking Hills, man, you're spending good money and you've got people that know what they're doing to achieve that. Here's the good news: is their food comes in at 336 a pound for this, and KD from Hills is 546 on Chewy. 546 a pound versus 336. If you've got a big dog, that can make it make a difference. And it sure beats saying I can't afford therapeutic food, so I'm going to get online and listen to these crazy people with their recipes and their holistic, all natural approach. Please don't do that. So here's another alternative if you're really on a budget. I'm really impressed with it. We can take a look at the ingredient panel so you can see how weird theirs is, just like KD, because the ingredient panel is not going to help your renal patient. The nutrients that are restricted are gonna. Okay, so here is the ingredient panel, and you'll see brewer's rice is the first ingredient. Chicken fat, that's fine. Dried egg product, corn gluten meal. So right there, let's stop there. There is your two main protein sources in this food. Why? Because meat protein, it'd be almost impossible to get down to the mineral content to actually manage the disease. So that's why they're combining these. This is nutrition, folks. This is the difference between ingredientists that just look at an ingredient and say, oh, corn gluten meal, well, that's not as good as meat, so corn gluten meal is bad. Well, corn gluten meal in a diet like this, along with the dried egg, of course, you can get all the amino acids you need, all the protein that animal needs, especially in renal failure, but you're able to reduce the mineral content that would be almost impossible in a meat-based food. You can get close. There's some that try to do that, but you need super pure meat sources because they're just naturally high in phosphorus. So The egg is the egg is definitely key here. There's the flaxseed we've seen again for omega 3s, fish oil again. Now this is interesting. This is preserved with ethoxyquin. I did not see this. Ethoxyquin pretty much is not used in foods anymore. That they're all using mixed tocopherols. So I'm kind of surprised to see ethoxyquin. Now I will tell you, that some of you are going to say, "Okay, that's it. I would never use this food," and that's fine. Ethoxyquin was back in the 90s, I think, when oh, it's terrible, it's doing all these terrible things, we have to stop using it. And Hills stopped using it. um, Obviously Ivet didn't in this diet, but so obviously it's probably from the supplier where they're using ethoxyquin. But Hill's position was, we've looked at all the studies on ethoxyquin. They have, with rats, they were dumping in, not Hills wasn't doing it, but there were studies putting tons of it into rats and stuff, and just getting skin issues and things like that. It really did not produce scientifically what the people out there were saying it was happening. But Hills felt, okay, by popular demand, and there's other options, and again, more natural options like tocopherols, we'll stop using ethoxyquin. So I'm kind of surprised they're using it here. So there you go, for you people that said we need to look at the ingredient panel. Here you go. This one, you got me on this one. I'm not too thrilled to see ethoxyquin on here. I don't know that I'd rule this diet out, but I am surprised to see that in there. Just like if I saw BHA and BHT, those I would say, okay, we're going to just keep going. But I'm not willing to do that with ethoxyquin. Powdered cellulose, that is an excellent fiber source. The ingredientists out there love making fun of powdered cellulose, that it's just the wood shavings off the swept up off the floor and put in the food. I mean, I've heard that so many times, it's ridiculous. It just, whenever you hear that, please ignore that person. If you listen to anything I ever say, here's just one of those, put in the back of your mind. If they tell you powdered cellulose is nothing but sawdust that is swept off the floor and put into pet food, stop listening to everything else they say. They're either liars, which I'm sure they're not. Okay, somebody started it, obviously, but they're not in the position of being liars. They're just in the position that they heard it, it sounded good, and now they're repeating it. But it is a lie. It is inaccurate, and that's why you need to stop listening to those people right there. What else do we have? Beet pulp, that's fine, and then we're on to the minerals. So again, the only thing here, I'm very impressed with this diet. The ethoxyquin, I could see some people saying, with all the other options I have, I'm gonna pass on this one. So I hope you're happy that I finally found something that I love the price. I love the nutrient content. I love the honest ingredient panel. And I did. Did a review of both the nutrients and the ingredient panel. So some of you owe me a thank you, or at least whatever, something, a heart or a thumbs up for including the ingredient panel. Okay. So there you go. And you all have a great day. Stay warm wherever you are. And I'm going to have to go out and shovel now, I think. So take care.